Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 47 of the Talking with the Dad podcast. This evening, we don't have much going on. You know, there's a few topics here. It's gonna be a 25-minute show, in and out, and we're gonna be moving quick. Stevie's gonna run the show tonight. He's gonna curate everything. He's gonna guide us along this railway that is the Talking with the Dad podcast, and we're gonna enjoy the ride.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to apologize in advance. Zach has been playing PUBG, and if you can't tell by the demeanor or the sound, general cadence of his voice,
what are you talking about?
He's not happy right now. Me and Zach
I'm fine, dude. I'm fine.
We've been friends for almost 2 years, and I know the wave of Zach.
Oh,
and I can tell. I can tell when he's trying to hold it together. This is Zach being a good friend right now because he doesn't want to take it out on me, so he does things where he's like restraint. It's growth.
No, I don't have restraint. I don't have growth.
No, it's growth, man. It's real growth. Zach, my friend, you were killing it on the grill today. You sent me some stuff, and I just want you to take the people through the food porn that you sent me today. What did you make?
2 steaks. I don't know what the cuts are. I just someone hands me a steak and go cook it, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, was it seasoned? And they're like, no. And I'm like, all right, well, let's go to town. 2 steaks, about an inch or so thick. Threw them on the grill. Cooked them, I thought, beautifully from the outside. From the outside, they look very good. I think I sent you a picture from the first flip, right? I don't think I took a picture after that.
First flip.
Yeah, no, very good. I did a little bit of salt, pepper, onion salt, garlic salt, and then there's a seasoning that we kind of just use on everything. It's like an all-purpose seasoning. I wish I could find it because there's a bunch of there's 10 or 12. No, we don't have that kind of money. There's 12 there's 12 seasoning or spices inside of it that really work well with steak. I think works well with steak. I think it works really well with pork too. Yeah, so that's what we did. Grilled it up. Grill Master General checking in. I posted a picture on Twitter about it. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Now listen, this is no hype right here. Zach went full grill master. He broke out the New Balances, pulled the socks right down just above the ankle to get the perfect.
That's where it's the most comfortable. That's where the socks are the most comfortable.
He tucked the striped shirt in, right? Pulled the leather belt, the leather knotted belt around just to make sure everything looked good. Because that's when
I don't think I own any striped shirts. No, I own one. I own one striped shirt.
You show up to a barbecue and the man's wearing New Balances with white socks and he's got a knotted leather belt. That's about to be the bomb.
That's my dad. You've literally just described my dad, who is honestly one of the better cooks that I've ever had. At least home cook for sure. My dad's a very, very good cook, I think. Yeah, no, steaks look great, man. That first flip looked masterful. We had Wingstop tonight, and my beautiful wife, who I love and cherish every day, she calls me up. She's like, "Babe, what do you want from Wingstop?" And I'm like, give me something spicy. I'm feeling tough, right? But forgetting my age. So I'm 39. I've been eating spicy food for quite some time now. And now it's starting to catch up with me, right? The things that I used to be able to eat, I can't eat anymore. Okay. So she orders me mild chicken tenders and something with a dry rub on it. That's like the Cajun rub. Okay. I've eaten real Cajun food before. I've had it. From the South? Real Cajun spices. My family's Cajun, Creole to be exact, by nature, and I've had this type of stuff before. Tonight, I had to tap out and leave 3 pieces of chicken on the table because the Cajun rub was too much for me. Steve, I might have to find a new partner for this podcast. That's an unacceptable feat, I might add. I knew you were going to say that, so I've already put 1 bullet in the chamber. This is going to happen on air right now. Man, that is dark. That is dark. Suicide is not a joke. Sorry about that. There was a child sitting to his left. Listen, dude, I'm telling you, I'm still recovering from how spicy they were, and my wife kept apologizing to me, and I'm like, it's not your fault, babe. I asked for it. Exactly. You were loving me by giving me what I asked for, dude. But man, I gotta tell you, the Wingstop in the town next to us, where the school is. I was back this off air, man. Perfect alchemy mix today, man. I mean, we're talking about some real winners outside. Listen, man, you show up to a restaurant, you sit down in front of the restaurant, no matter how lame the establishment might be, if there's a sign on the table that says, please do not smoke within 20 feet of the door, most people probably don't want to smell that as they're getting their food or they're waiting on their food. Sure.
but there's a smoke shop right next door, so you can kind of think about the population.
Yeah, there's a little bit of tension between the two shop owners. You know, so you can't have two kebab shops next to each other. They'll start fighting.
Listen. If you're not from the East Coast, it's a little different over here than the West Coast. Some smoke shops, you got nice hippie looking people standing outside. You're not gonna find any of those people in New York in front of the smoke shop. This guy was literally blowing smoke into the Wingstop every time they opened the door, and then the kid,
he's opening the door and he's only blowing smoke in.
The kid who's completely apathetic behind the counter, who I've seen multiple times, who does not give a crap about anything, actually came on. He's like, "Dude, could you please get up and leave?" Kicked him out.
Wow,
shit about
my boys kicking people out. I appreciate that, man. I can fucking appreciate that.
The Wingstop was good, man. Texas Roadhouse was not doing a good job of socially distancing the people waiting.
Man, that is two restaurants back to back that I actually hate. I hate Texas. I hate Texas Roadhouse. I don't want peppercorns on everything. I got a prime rib from there once that they they seasoned with peppercorns and like barbecue sauce, and I'm like, this is not how I want my prime rib. This is not how I want it.
I got chicken tartare from there one time. Now, if you're scratching your head saying,
that is dangerous.
Dude, let me just put it to you this way, right? I was told that it was probably just a barbecue sauce, and I'm like, no, that's not barbecue sauce. That's not why it looks like that. This chicken's undercooked, and I did not eat the rest of my meal.
Wow. Yeah, I don't like Texas Roadhouse at all, and I don't like Wingstop. I think Wingstop, as far as places you can get wings, is garbage. Is the lowest of the low. That's what they turned all the Pizza Huts into, right? Is Wingstop that? It's unfortunate because Pizza Hut's really good.
Yeah, pizza. So it started off in California. Yeah, I agree with you. Pizza Hut is like, in regards to that level of food.
So there's like shitty pizza. Right, there's a good shitty pizza. Domino's, I think, is a good shitty pizza. Pizza Hut, I think, is a good shitty pizza. But like
stuffed crust.
Yeah, dude, it's incredible. But like I don't like Papa John's as much as those two. There's another one too. Little Caesars. Don't like Little Caesars.
I like the promptness at which the pies are made at Little Caesars. I don't know
because they've made them over the last week, and they're just handing out the oldest ones that they possibly could.
Not true. We don't want to get sued here at Talking with a Dad by disparaging a huge conglomerate like Little Caesars. They actually make them 15 minutes before your arrival. Did you know that?
But how do they know when I'm going to arrive? I can just show up. Oh, I don't. No. I'm not one of those people. I'm not a call and order people. I want to show up, and I want that shit to be made in front of me.
You show up with a gold chain on. You're like, yo, where's my food over here?
They're like, sir, did you call in? And I'm like, I don't have a phone. Actually, I've been I've upgraded in my life a little bit where I don't go to Jake's Way Back and then order when I'm there. I downloaded the app and order, and then I leave my house and get it.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. You know what, Zach? I've been thinking about this a lot, man. You, even though you just visited, would be the type of guy who would thrive in California, whether it be Northern Cal or, Hollywood. Because you're a foodie like myself, right? We're the type of guys that go out of our way to find really, really trashy food. But we like our trashy food, and then really, really upscale food. You're the only other guy I know that would spend about $300 on a steak. Now, in my defense, it wasn't my $300 I spent. A client made me go there
on multiple occasions. Spent more money on a steak than I had on like gas to get to the place.
So here's the thing, man. I don't think we've ever talked about on the show is I think we both really enjoy sushi. Am I correct in my assumption?
I enjoy sushi very much. Yeah.
And even though you told a funny story about a guy running out after receiving a C rating at the sushi restaurant, I don't think we've ever gone over our love of sushi on the show, dude. Like, we've talked about crap fast food, we've talked about high end steaks. We've never talked about best sushi you've ever had. Where'd you get it, man?
Oh my god! I don't eat it enough to actually like. So best for me is kind of relative, right? I think maybe the best experience while eating sushi I've ever had was in Boston. Right, I don't think the sushi itself was the best, but like what was going on at the time and why I was there and what I was doing, that's what made that meal the best sushi that I've ever had, right? I think I ate sushi 3 times when I was in California, just from like random like local places that I had ordered on Grubhub. Those were very, very good. Those are probably objectively better than what I had in Boston, but that meal in Boston is probably the best I've ever had.
What'd you have? in Boston?
You don't know. I ordered like a platter. Me and Reggie split $100 or $120 worth of sushi and sashimi. And
now let me
it
ask
was
you a
very
question.
good.
That doesn't surprise me with Boston because there are a few places that get the fish locally sourced from that area, so that's going to be tasty stuff.
Yeah,
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with sushi, right? Now I've also had sushi in Boston before, but you're going to laugh at this. Some of the best low-grade sushi I've ever had. You'll never guess where I got it from.
California.
No. Walgreens in Boston.
See, I can't. I can't.
Hold on. You got to hear me out. Because you can go to California and you can go to a Gristedes and get freshly rolled sushi there, right? And most people, because it's California, they're going to eat it. I'm telling you, what if I told you that in the Devonshire district of Boston, near the Gardens, nice area. I mean, except for the heroin addicts that are scurrying up from the.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
You just throw them a couple of bucks, they'll leave you alone.
No, you don't give them money. You're just, sorry, I only have a card. And they're like, well, buy me something. I'm like, no, fuck you. Get out of my face.
Zach has no soul. But
that's a good point. It's the most true thing anyone's ever said.
What if I told you there's a Walgreens right down the street from the Devonshire where they have an actual professional sushi chef and he makes the rolls in the Walgreens? Like, and we're not talking about like with crap fish either. Like, it's not like.
Listen, I've seen weirder things, to be fair, right? I have seen stranger things. What?
Name 2 things. Name 2 stranger things that you've seen that.
I was in the South, and you know, like the mobility scooters that people ride, not because they're handicapped, but because they're too fat. People riding those on the interstate.
Whoa. You can't say that.
There's a difference. I said not the ones that you ride because you're disabled. They're the ones that the people ride because they're fat.
No, the other thing. You can't say fat anymore.
Oh, really? So there were these rotund people riding mobility scooters on an interstate. On an interstate. Like I-90 or 95, whatever it is, right? Like in a full-fledged interstate. Riding mobility scooters. That's one for sure. And then, I mean, I was randomly driving through our town. I wrote that you wouldn't know if I said what it was. And there were just a horse coming the opposite direction.
Dude,
just a horse.
Doesn't surprise me. On our honeymoon, we went to Grand Turks, was one of the stops. We did the off-roading thing, which was not off-roading, by the way. But randomly, we drive by an abandoned mansion on the island, and there's a donkey.
See, that's more strange to me than a sushi chef in a Walgreens in a fairly nice part of Boston. Yeah, it's a little more strange to me.
But listen, about that guy, right? I went in there at 1 a.m. Boston, not the donkey. Yeah, in Grand Turks. I went in there and then I had to try it because I see the guy like when you see someone
totally. I would have tried it too.
When you see someone deeply immersed in their trade, right? Like you can tell when they take pride. I used to see you doing this sometimes at the school when you weren't berating people, and then like there were moments you were actually doing like you were deep into your crap. I remember one instance in the school you were showing me how to swap out and test bad RAM on one of the computers at the school, and you were like, "No, Steve, this is what you got to do, man. You got to really, really look at it. Really look." You were like really deep into it. When I walked into the Walgreens, this guy was deep into it. Like every role was professional.
Really?
Like everything.
Yeah, he did. I like this guy.
It wasn't overly animated. He wasn't looking for attention. This was the guy that, even though he was getting paid $9.25 minimum wage an hour, he was really into his job. And I bought some of that stuff from him. He's like, hey, don't grab that stuff down there. He's like, I just made some more of these rolls. I'll pack these up and I'll give you these ones. I was like, oh, are there going to be more than the rolls that are right here? He's like, no, same price. He's like, those I made those 2 hours ago. I'm going to throw them out in a second. He's like, try these instead.
Okay.
So, it's like that. I tried it. And
he cared about it. He cared about the qualities. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah, they probably shot him after that shift. Like the manager came over like, what do you
mean? What do you get rid of the old stock? What the fuck are you talking about? Old stuff out first. Make new stuff when you need it. Absolutely.
We sell the old stuff for at least 5 days. Anyway, else, you had Korean barbecue when you were in California too. What did you think of that stuff?
It's incredible. Korean barbecue is one of my favorite meal experiences. Right. So there's meal experiences you can have. Churrascaria, a Brazilian steakhouse which they're sitting at a table and they just bring food to you all the time. That's incredible. I like that a lot. But a Korean barbecue might be my favorite meal experience. I've actually done Korean barbecue at least twice since then.
Really? Here, back home?
Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a place in the town next.
I refuse to go to that place. I know exactly what it is. I've had bad experiences from there with sushi. When it was a sushi spot. Yep.
What happened?
Food wasn't good. I felt like some of the fish might have been sour a little bit. Yeah, not good. I would refuse to go there. I know exactly where it is. Exactly. It's right next to the IHOP.
Yep.
I would way rather go to the IHOP. Dude. I'm totally an American diner kid, man. I love it.
That IHOP is like the wild, wild west.
It's the worst IHOP. You know what sucks too is because if you drive like 5 minutes like up that road, off on the left side, there's a really good diner. There's a very, very good diner there.
Yeah, that place is great. I know what you're talking about. Right before the weird sharp right turn. Yeah.
The Colonial Diner. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they have great grilled blueberry muffins. Have you tried those before?
No. I've only ever gone there with my dad. My dad likes the spot a lot. He knows the people that own it, obviously, and yeah, he loves it. So we go there every once in a while. Me and my dad will go out for breakfast, and that's usually where we go. It's great.
Nice stuff, man. So Zach,
before we get into this, I had PC issues recently. I was trying to install a game that was on one of my other, not my SSD, on one of my older hard drives. Actually, the old hard drive's sitting right here. I had to replace a drive. Because I tried to update PUBG.
You were telling me about this the other day.
I had to try to update PUBG. This is my old Seagate. This is the original Fire CUDA, by the way. This is how old this drive is. You can see it says, you probably can't see it that well, but it says SSHD. So it's a solid state, regular mechanical hard drive, right? It's a 5400, 7200 RPM, something like that. This is the original Fire CUDA. And I've had it for years. I had it for a long time. It's a 2 terabyte drive. I loved it. And I tried to update PUBG on it the other day, and PUBG failed and said it was a corrupt drive. So I was like, okay, that's strange. Tried to launch another game on it that I had installed on it. Game wouldn't launch. Tried to open up an image that I had stored on it. Image wouldn't open. So I replaced it.
Has anyone talked to you about data recovery yet?
No, I combed through everything that I had on there. I had some old files on there that I just transferred off onto my 3 or 4 terabyte drive. Could open them fine after that. So it wasn't fully recovered. It was going, right? I hate my PC case. I absolutely hate my case 1,000 times over. We've had this conversation probably 100 times, but I swapped the hard drive 5 seconds. It has hot swap bays on the front, so it makes it really easy. So you just disconnect and you just open the door, it slides out, take it out, put the other one in, slide it back in. Works perfect. It's amazing.
Let me ask you a question, because I have a Fire CUDA 2.5, it's a 1 terabyte in my drive. First drive, it was my first storage drive for this computer. Would you say you were satisfied with the overall quality of the Fire CUDA drive?
This is a Seagate advertisement. Man, I've had this drive for 6 years, 6, 7, 8 years. It's gone through probably 10 Windows installations before I got an SSD or used my SSD. I've had stuff stored on it for years. I was looking back and, I had stuff stored on it that I hadn't touched in 4 years, right? In sectors of the drive. So yeah, I was really happy with it. I was sad to have to replace it, but I replaced it with a cheap 5400 RPM Western Digital Blue, which, doesn't do the Fire CUDA justice, but the Fire CUDA was an extra $50 over what it was. So.
And we want to thank our sponsors for at Seagate for sending Zach over that original Fire CUDA. And just like that, the sponsorship joke is back in there, ladies and gentlemen. No, dude? I actually really enjoy the Fire CUDA drives. Obviously, I'm a modder. There's some things I can't talk about on air because some of that stuff is still, it's not kosher. But Fire CUDA is.
We're talking about the PS2 that you have.
No, we're not talking about any of that stuff, Zach. Why would we ever be talking about any of that stuff? but Fire CUDA, I really do honestly believe that Seagate, when it comes to the mixed NAND flash and mechanical drive, they do it the best, dude. They do it the absolute
They're really
best.
the only one that does it, though. As far as I know, I don't think Western Digital has a drive that's very similar to that. So what we're talking about is the Fire Cuda has a larger cache that is made up of solid state storage, right? So I think this one had maybe 8 gigs of solid state storage. And what it does is that the things that you frequently use on that, it will move to that solid state storage so you can access it more quickly, right? It allows the filtering and the caching.
Over time as well, it continues because of the smart memory and stuff like that. It actually continues to get faster with file access too. That's something I didn't know about it.
See, yeah, to a point, right? Until it starts failing.
Yeah.
And then mine went downhill over the last year or so. I knew I was having issues with it, and it finally gave me an error sign, so I replaced it. Yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, it was a good drive. It's definitely suited me really well, for sure.
You know what, man? I just keep thinking about all these things, right, man? So you were probably the first real computer enthusiast I've known, right? That I've had real conversations with. There's no denying it. When I first started working with you at the school, like, I judged people. You know, I judged them secretly in my head, and you called me out on that. You're like, Steve, you pretend to be a nice guy, but I know that you're judging a lot of people here. And I'm like, no.
I don't remember saying that. It doesn't even sound like something I would say, but okay.
No, you absolutely said it to me. You said it in front of one of our coworkers that was talking to me, and I'm like, he's
gonna get fucked up.
Very awkward. But you know what, though, man? It's a strange thing when a component goes on a device that you spend so much time on. I know you hate your case, but I hate it. I know you hated building in it. I know it was a bigger deal. You made it into a bigger deal in your head, and then you were disappointed with the overall when you got it. But think about how you're gonna feel, if you're being honest, when you switch the components to your new case.
So fucking happy. I want to be so happy. The reason I haven't done it right now is because I'm waiting for the power supply to go. This is essentially the same power supply that I've had since I built my first PC 10 years ago.
Right.
I had the original one for 6 years. It had a 7-year warranty. So then I replaced it under the warranty, and now I've had this one for another 4 years. So I've just kept the same power supply. It's done me really, really well. The Thermaltake power supply has been incredible for me. It's not even like one of the Corsair, like really, really nice Corsair ones or whatever. And I have expensive components connected to it, you know, but it's done me really, really well. I would buy the same power supply again if I were building another PC.
You know, while we got you on the subject, so you have expensive components connected to it. For the new uninitiated computer enthusiast, would you say that you're at a point where you're like, you know what, I don't want to take out all my other components? When do you think you're going to make the jump?
To what, a new PC?
No, a new power supply, because a lot of people worry about that taking out their more expensive.
So to be fair, it's a $450 power supply, right? Okay. It's not like it's a cheap $80 power supply. I mean, not $450, maybe it was $300, whatever it was, right? It's an expensive power supply. It's doing exactly what it should be doing, right? It's an 80, it's an 80 plus platinum rated. It's the highest rated. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm waiting for it to go. So I might have another 4 years, right? I'll upgrade a graphics card. I think when the 3000 series comes out, I'm going to look at the graphics card and assess and see what I want to do with it. My 8700K is like perfect. I don't think I need anything else for it. I have 32 gigs of RAM. You know, I don't need more than that. There's not really much I could do. I do want to add an M.2 drive and do a fresh installation of Windows. I haven't done one of those in I think 3 years now. I was known for a while, I was doing a fresh installation every year, right? I would do a fresh OS every year, even some because I had done it twice a year, right? Because I think when your OS is brand new and you haven't done anything to screw it up yet, or, you know, file registry is like on point, like that's when the PC runs optimally, right? And you know, I want to do one of those again, but I'm at the point where I've had the same PC for a long time, and I think I might just buy a new PC at some point. I don't
really think like pre-built, or
yeah, I think I'm gonna go with a pre-built, but I'll go with like a bespoke pre-built company, right? Like an Artisan PC or an Origin or something along those lines. I'll pay the extra money to have a good water cooling system built into it and get everything top of the line at the time. I don't think I want to build another PC. I've done so many. Hundreds of PCs. I built hundreds of PCs, right? How many PCs did you see me build when we were working together? You know, I would say probably 50.
Funny story, just really quick. I want to give you some props, which I hate doing, by the way. You built a computer for you built a computer for a music engineer, and I want you to know I never ever got a chance to tell you this. That's actually a big deal. Do you remember the guy that I'm talking about? He was switching. Remember his
I remember he was switching from an old Mac Pro, I think.
Yeah.
And building something with like, man, he had terabytes on terabytes of solid state storage. Yeah, I remember the guy. And I think I even had remembered maybe even consulting him on what I thought he should buy for the job.
Right. Do you know how big of a deal that is? Like, because that guy was in a very weird place in his life, because the particulars for that, I checked that computer in. The poor guy had been using that computer for so long that when we sold him on switching over the Windows, that was a big deal.
Sure.
That was a big deal for him. But you built him a computer that actually is probably going to last him for the next 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Next decade.
It was a nice machine.
For studio work, man. So, it's his unfortunate luck that he bought bad RAM from Amazon.
Yeah, and I had to switch it, and it worked perfect after that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, how many would you say? Do you think you've actually built over 100 computers?
250 probably. You can remember building it for like my job when I was working there wasn't the only thing I was building. Right, I was building PCs left and right all over the place. You know, I've built PCs from $500 or $600 to $5,000 or $7,000, right? Like, I built a lot of PCs in my day for sure. Still to the day, the nicest one I built was for Cash. Was for King Cash. Okay. Was our guest a few episodes ago, and that was probably the nicest one because it meant a lot, right? Because he had trusted me with all the other people there that could have built the PC. He trusted me with doing it. I had consulted him on every piece. I made him buy the 8086K, which isn't probably, no one knows what this is, the i7 8086K, but it was a 25th or 30th anniversary of the 8086 processor.
They didn't release that many, did they?
5,000 or something, maybe 20,000 of them. And Cash got one. First processor ever to be 5 gigahertz out of the box. So it was that, and then everything, right? Even the case, down to the case. And I built him a show PC, and that's what it was. And yeah,
it's a really beautiful PC, and still holding up a test of time. That would be something great. So I'm going to point Zach as the resource here. He's going to get really pissed right now, but we're going to do a live stream event pretty soon, and that's going to be one of the topics that I was secretly going to throw in there. Like, ask him your questions, folks. When we do the live stream, please, if you have PC questions, he pretends like he doesn't want to answer the question, but that actually makes him feel really good.
I'll answer any and all PC questions, man. I spent 2.5 hours last night in a live stream answering microphone questions for people. Microphone and boom arm questions, honestly. It was a lot of boom arm questions, but yeah, I don't mind doing it at all. Honestly, I actually really enjoy doing it, to be fair.
So the next PC I'm going to build, it'll be this PC actually, is going to be for when I buy new turntables, and I'm just going to if I ever upgrade, I'm going to turn this one into just a studio PC I do to make music and stuff like that. So there's only one person I'm going to turn to do that. Well, one of two, but Zach is the guy I'm going to go to, and he's going to be my go-to guy. So
I would honestly be offended if you didn't.
You were out of town when this one had to be built. There were warranties and return policies that had to be.
I was offended. I was honestly offended by that. I had offered to come over and build it, and you had turned that down.
Were out of town. Dude. So listen, before it gets too weird and awkward in here, man. Zach, some big stuff going on YouTube right now, man.
Is there
big stuff, man?
I'm unaware, I believe.
There's huge stuff going on YouTube, but we're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to talk about some good stuff going on Twitch. Your boy came back to stream, man. Your boy Ninja.
One stream, 2.5, maybe 3 hours of a stream. Yeah, it was interesting. Peaked at 98,000 viewers. I was up for some reason at 9 in the morning when he went live, which is very rare for me. And I watched it for a little bit. Ninja has he's funny, right? He's very personable, and it seems like he would be fun to play games with. But it was him and Dr. Lupo. I enjoyed watching Dr. Lupo a lot. We had a 20-minute conversation about his PC setup recently, and
you mean 20 minutes ago?
Yeah,
like an hour
ago? It was very very recently. I said recently. I didn't say how recently. It was fun. It was fun. He's just streaming on all the platforms he can at the moment, I think, from what I picked of it, until he decides his next home or where he goes. Sure, I have no disrespect for that.
Interesting thing. Apparently, his premiere stream back on YouTube did slightly better than this actual one on Twitch.
YouTube has a higher ceiling. I promise you that. There's no way the next person we're going to talk about hit the numbers that he hit on Twitch.
Yeah. Well, there were a few other factors that went into there. You're someone that deals with the Twitch demographics and the margins and on a day-to-day basis. But apparently, you know, deciding to stream at 8 a.m. Not Central Time. What time zone is he in?
It was Central. It was 8 a.m. Central, so it was 9 out here.
9 here. So that might have contributed to the slight dip there. But
sure.
It was still it was still very impressive. And for him to come back and for people to show him the love. Now, let's talk about his brand for a second. Prior to leaving for Mixer, this guy was the guy that people loved to hate, man. Like, it
always has been.
It's interesting, right? It's like at the height of your popularity, there's this point where you hit the top of the mountain, and then people are like, that dude sucks. Yeah. And then the next guy follows in line, and like, but he comes back. And I was just reading some of the comments in this chat. Overwhelming support for him doing this thing. And I think it's mostly because people were happy that he raged against the machine, no pun intended. But like, he went against the grain against Twitch. Yeah. Let's be honest, he got paid to do so. And he can come back just like that. And people tune in.
Sure,
it's amazing, dude. It's amazing.
When you have star power, right? Like, oh, man, who's the actor from Honey I Shrunk the Kids? Cage. No, not fucking Nicolas Cage. Jesus, that guy's fucking. That guy can never act again. No one would care. The guy from Honey I Shrunk the Kids. Is it no? Is it Martin Short?
Little guy.
Yeah,
Shop hard. Yeah,
whatever. He stopped acting because his wife had passed away and he wanted to raise his children, right? And he retired, he had enough money, retired, lives in New York City, whatever. He could come back tomorrow and still pull people, right? Yeah. Because there is that allure to someone that is gone, right? And he comes back and he still has fans, right? Ninja is that same way. Shroud will be the same way. Doc is the same way, right? Any of these big streamers that, you know, go off the platform, take a month off like Pokimane is doing. Like, when they come back, it'll be an exciting thing because people are like, hey, you know, we miss this person. We want to know what this person is doing. Streaming is very personal, right? So like, you feel like you get to know the person when they're streaming, right? Like, I feel like I've watched enough Bodhi, for example, the RuneScape streamer, that I feel like I know what Bodhi's going through right now after his hardcore dive. And why he hasn't streamed in a month and a half, really, other than to play poker. You know, you feel like you know these people for that reason. So streaming is a unique medium where that, like, you could go away for a month and people are like, in the back of your head, like, oh, I wonder what this person is doing, right? The entire time Shroud was on Mixer, not that I would click a Mixer ad ever or link ever, and now you can't anymore. And then I can say all this stuff.
Very sad if you do.
Yeah, I'm always wondering, like, what's Shroud up to right now, right? Like, so when he comes back to his platform, whenever it is, I'll tune in for that, you know, because I'm curious on what's going through and what's happening with Shroud, right?
You know, the interesting thing about it is too, man, when you talk about someone's brand, like someone would like Ninja, and obviously I learned this from you. You told me the hardest thing to get anyone to do is to click a link. That day,
fucking impossible.
It was not hard. It was not hard for anyone to click the link.
But it was, it's the idea, right? He left Twitch to go to Mixer. It was really hard to get people to click that link, but everyone is still on Twitch, right? Right. When you go back to the platform, it's really easy. It's right there. Like, I'm following Ninja, right? I don't fucking watch him, but I'm like, oh, he's here. Click.
But here's the thing, right? So this was going to be the second part of that point. It's really hard to get someone to click that link. But it's really hard for someone to retune back in. Like, I know absence makes the heart grow fonder, but there's also a point of deficit where absence will make the heart forgetful. Sure. And for someone to return, especially with all the stuff he did, dude, and he killed it. The one thing I wanted to ask you about it, you're watching the stream. At any point did nostalgia wear off? Were you just like, oh, this is Ninja, typical Ninja stream? Was there anything
the entire time? No, it wasn't nostalgic for me. I was there because I knew we were going to talk about it, right? It was the same reason I sat in Doc stream all day, because I knew we were going to talk about it. I don't like Fortnite at all. I don't like anything about Fortnite. I don't like the way that it looks, the mechanics, how it looks like it plays. I don't like anything of it. So it's not an appeal to me. If he was playing Halo, right? If he was playing Halo 3, I would be way more interested in that. I would have been maybe nostalgic about because I used to watch Ninja when he was a Halo pro.
Right.
But no, there wasn't. It was just a standard Ninja stream. You know, he's fun. He's funny. He you know, he's a good streamer. Like at the core, he's a good streamer. So it was entertaining. That was it.
You know what he never utilized, man? That beautiful studio that Red Bull built in his house. I don't think I've ever seen that
like fully shown off. Yeah, I would find that to be very strange too. It seems like it's a very fun place to work because you know, streaming is working in my opinion. So this is like a very fun place to work. You know, he doesn't do doc style transitions and I'm going to get up and be an entertainer over here. He is an entertainer because he's good at a game, just the same way that Shroud is an entertainer, right? Slightly more personality and more outspoken and speaks a little bit more. But no, I wish he would show it off a little bit more. Right when he first had it built, he was showing it off quite a bit. And I think he's in a place where he doesn't want to seem like he's being braggadocious about it or doesn't want to make other people feel bad because our gaming setup isn't about that. Remember, he took that weird turn and went down the path of, hey, I want to be the clean guy. I want to be the guy that the kids can look up to. And I think he took a turn and didn't want to kind of like throw that in people's faces.
I mean, it helps with marketing. Like, even if I also think that, again, I'm coming in as a novice.
An Adidas shoe or something, dude.
I'm coming in as a novice, man, but when you look at someone when they make that transition in life, like he's starting to get to an age where he's probably starting to think about, what does my brand look like? And do I want to be remembered as the guy that was constantly cursing at the screen? So some of that was from marketing, and I think some of it is personal growth. That's the one thing I will say I really enjoy. One of the many things I enjoy about Shroud. He doesn't have to do any of that stuff, right? He doesn't need a $3 million studio built into his house.
You say that he's buying a new house and he's gonna do it.
Dude, you know what? I just think about Shroud going over to Shroud's house, and he's probably that guy that has like the really good cheese and wine set up.
No, he's definitely not. No, you know what? I would say that Shroud, the only food or drinks that are in Shroud's house are what the sponsors send him. I guarantee that's the case. No, dude, I bet you Shroud has never cooked a meal in his life, dude.
You fat SOBs like us show up, I guarantee Shroud's like, hey man, I heard you guys like sushi. Steve, I flew in the stuff from Boston. I found that guy. I flew him in from Boston.
We actually resurrected him. There was 2 bullets in the back of his head. Clearly committed suicide.
Like, to my point, like, so he's buying a house, but Shroud's the guy who doesn't need that stuff. Like, anytime I've tuned into his room, and even when I've watched his VODs or watched his recaps on YouTube, you know what? One thing I was always amazed by is how cool he was, like, on the show.
That's his brand. That's his brand. He's the guy with... First of all, he's so good, right? He's potentially the best. Okay, so he's not the best FPS player of all time, but he is the best FPS player on whatever platform he wants to be on, right? Because a lot of the top guys don't stream, right? Which I always found weird. Yeah, I don't know. His brand is he's just calm. He has really good game sense. He doesn't let things bother him.
Yeah,
it's always incredible to watch.
Even in games where he's not entirely like sold on the game, it's funny to watch him not have fun. When I was watching him play Gears 5, clearly not
awful game. Yeah.
You know what? No one asked you. No one asked.
I'm sorry. You know, I feel like me and Shroud are on the same level as gameplay. So go ahead.
Yeah, I get that feeling too sometimes, dude. But I just remember watching him not having fun, and it was just like yeah, you know, it's just it's not my game, man. But you know, props to Ninja, man. He topped out at
98,000.
98,000.
Nearly 100K.
Dude, there was a point where he was joking around, and I could see that he was having a good time. And that right there made me feel really good for him, dude. Especially since he made $20 million. I guess I would be having a good time, too. Like
$30 million.
Oh, I said 20 because of taxes, because you know he got raped on those taxes, man. There's no way.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
They're like, you're expensing what? No. Dude,
there are actually a lot of ways that he could expense a lot of things going on in his house for that.
Dude,
yeah, the Ninja stream was good. It was fun for sure. It was a classic Ninja stream though.
When are you gonna turn the stream back on, Zach? I'm gonna keep pushing on you on this one, man. When are you turning the stream on?
Yeah,
I go to your channel
I've been
every day,
throwing the idea around, and you know, I don't want to have to commit to something. That's my biggest issue. Is as much as I like streaming, there'll always be a place in my heart for streaming. It's just that, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of at the point where it's like you could take it or leave it. I don't really care too much anymore.
You know, I'm gonna need you to do something for me, man.
What?
Don't get me involved in your hopes and dreams anymore. You get me all pumped up. You build me up to hear you like, see, I'm turning the stream. I'm like, yeah, for real. 3 weeks you've been promising to do this, and then you drop.
I've been talking about it. I've been talking about it. I want to, but I know for a fact that it'll just be a thing where I do it for 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it is, and then just stop again.
Best things about Zach's streams, right? His music. Zach will always respond to a song request, even if he's mid-game. There has not been a time where I'm like, hey, play this, man. And he's like, okay, hold on, Stevie.
It's true. The only time I don't play music is when I'm playing Tarkov. That's it.
Why is that? Oh, just because obviously
you can't
play
dude. You can't.
No.
I could so where the stream could hear it, but I couldn't. Right? I could do it off of a stream piece or whatever, but no, I'm okay, dude. That's the game is too fucking intense for that. For sure.
All right, I gotta ask you about topic number 5, man. What does it mean? Is it some type of cryptic message? Is there something?
No.
Is it my?
In 33 minutes, I turned 24. Right. I'm looking back on the year of being 23 years old. Right. And it was, you know, it was a big year. Right. I left one job where I was fairly secure to go into another job. Right. That was a step up and made good money for the short time that I was there. Right. Bought a new car. You know, I got laid off in a time it's hard for everybody, right? And have been since. You know, I think have I been out of work for 4 months now, something like that. I actually I got a check from that job. And I open up, I'm like, just all right, whatever. And then yeah, it's been a big year, right? I lost both my grandparents in a very short amount of time, and yeah, 23 it was a very interesting year. It really was. You know, there's a few decisions I could have made in that year that made it a little bit better, I think. Obviously, I probably wouldn't have taken the different job offer if I looked back on it now, right? I'd still probably be gainfully employed. Yeah, there's
that's not your fault.
No, it's not my fault. No. I know for a fact, and I knew it the entire time it wasn't my fault. There was, you know, when the government shut down because of COVID, there was no doubt in my mind that I would have there was no thought that 6 months from then I would still have that same job, right? I was the lowest man on the totem pole. I think I was pretty much, definitely in my department and in my like whole area, I was the newest hired, right? The least experienced, right? You know, to be fair, things wouldn't have went as smoothly without me, and I could see that, and I can appreciate the work that I did in helping transition to work from home in, you know, a weekend essentially. Yeah, it was a 23. It was a good year, right? We launched the podcast. We launched the gaming with a dad thing that quickly turned into, you know, if you start a business and you can't see when or where or if you need to pivot away from what you're doing, you're going to drive a business into the ground essentially, right? And we were doing a thing that was really just facilitating us having a conversation, right? And we were putting gameplay in front of it and this and that, and you know, we launched the podcast. I love the podcast. I've been doing a podcast on and off for 9 years or something, whatever it is, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, 23 overall was a very good year.
So I always ask people this question because some old fat bastard asked me this question when I was transitioning, and now that I am the old fat bastard, what are you taking into 24 with you, man? What did you learn? What did you learn about yourself? Not what's happened to you, but what have you learned about yourself?
Man, that's a really fucking good question, and I don't like it. I don't like it because it's such a good question. What have I learned about myself? I got to trust myself more. I got to trust myself more because I generally make really good decisions, and I always second guess and think and overthink and rethink and then overthink again things. Right. I do that quite a bit. You know, going into 24, my thought is maybe, hopefully, that I don't ever work for anyone ever again. right? Starting with this year, hopefully. Just gonna do my own thing. I hope, right? I'm trying to, at least. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. It's a fucking good question that I didn't expect to be thrown at me right now.
It's a haunting question. It's haunted me since my 21st birthday. I remember someone asked me that question. They were like, so what about 20 are you going to take into 21? What do you know about yourself? And I'm like, come on, man, I'm just trying to smoke this weed right now. Asking me really deep questions.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's what I know about you, right? So I met you as I was making a transition in my life. And immediately, I thought you were a really cool dude. Still think you're a really cool dude. Really amazing young man.
Poor fucking judge of character.
No, actually, I'm not. And that's why I got paid copious amounts of money to do what I did for years and decided to stop doing it. But amazing work ethic, right? Mm-hmm. Amazing work ethic. Will not compromise. That will change as time grows. We learn to compromise. It's not always a bad thing. You're definitely the guy to throw the first punch in the fight. I used to be like that. That's why I recognize that. So sometimes you start to learn. Maybe I won't throw that punch. And you are the man that will die on the hill of principle, which I respect because we're both that guy. Like, I'll come up there with you, even if I don't agree with you. I think the one thing I'll say for you, going from 23 into 24, man, you took a risk and you stood behind that decision, right? Sure. You walked into an unsecured situation because that department was screwed up before you got there, man. And instead, you weren't getting any leadership or anything like that. You walked in and you said, you know what? I'm going to put these computers together. I remember that day when you're like, dude, I'm just going to put all these laptops together. They're sitting around. They've been waiting to have hard drive. Like,
I did, man. I transitioned the single busiest department in that government from virtual PCs to physical PCs. On the back of my own idea. That was it. It had to have been done. They knew that it had to have been done, but they couldn't have done it without me. And yeah, I appreciate that.
No. It's funny because I was trying to think of a polite way to go into your birthday from today because you're a weird guy to talk to about this type of stuff, right? So your gift will be arriving to the house. I've had your address for months, but got you a little something. Hope you like it. Hope you enjoy it.
If there's actually something that arrives to the house, I'm going to throw it out and burn it. I hope you know that.
You can't do that.
I got myself a flamethrower for my birthday, so I'm going to need to test it out on something.
I did not get an extended warranty. If you do it, I will literally come to your house and beat you to death. It's cool, man. It's okay. Right. You're having a good time. And the next thing we're probably going to do for Zach's birthday, everyone, is send him some tweets. Something he uses the Twitter a lot. I don't know how to use it. He's tried to show me multiple times. And
I'm not very good at it either.
I keep tagging him in tweets from like years ago, and he's like, "Steve, you tweeted this in 2006, man." Just send him some birthday love, man. Anything else you want to do for your birthday, man? Anything else you want to? If you can do anything tomorrow, what would you do?
I don't know. Nothing. I don't know. There's nothing I would do. I'm going to my dad's house for dinner. And then I'm going to come back here and play some games. Well, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I'm going to do.
Turn the stream on, man. We'll be waiting for you, man. We're
there
waiting.
Is
Happy
no
birthday.
Chance I turn the stream on. There is no chance, my friend.
I will literally come to your house, armbar you, make you turn.
Yeah, well, you have to armbar me and then fix my arm because you wouldn't be able to figure out how to turn the fucking stream on. You're like, what is this? What a PC does what?
So I got to ask you, man. Fall Guys taking over?
Do you know what this is?
Zach. No, dude, leave me. Hold on. Another thing. Don't send me any more flat earther stuff before I'm going to bed, dude, because I'm going to click on it every time in the next
I sent you the same video again. There's the same.
I watched it. I watched
Flat Gang, baby. I love that part. I've been saying that to myself all day. So Fall Guys is a new game that just came out. It's a party game, right? It's the same way in the idea of like Mario Party or something like that. It's just like a fun little game, but it blew up on Twitch. It blew up. I think when I was looking the other day, it was like 300,000 or 400,000 people watching. It was the most watched game on Twitch at the moment. And I bought it. I got to play one game before the fucking server's been down, and then I've been trying to play since, and the servers have been down since. It was a lot of fun. You wouldn't like it. Your kids probably would like it. You spawn in with 60 people. You're like these little like weird bean characters. Spawning with 60 people, and you're doing different little games, right? You're trying to get across an obstacle course. You're trying to be the last person standing on a floor that dissolves under you. Something like that. It's just a fun little like competitive game. That's it. That's all it is. It's just been super popular on Twitch recently, and you know,
there's a lot of people watching it right now.
There's a lot of people watching it right now. Yeah, there's a lot of people watching it right now. I'm trying to pull it up. 222,000 people watching it right now. It's the second most watched category on Twitch is under just chatting. I wonder who is just chatting as to make this so big. No clue. Don't know any of these people.
Hey, I saw a pretty interesting question on Facebook today that made me think about you, and I was like, I wonder what his reaction would be. Someone posted, "Would you date a girl that had a what is it called? Friends, members only?
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans? Yeah,
man." That's a fucking good question, because those just mentally disturbed, probably really low self-esteem women are kind of my type. But no, I don't think so. Actually, I have a little bit of experience with this. I know a girl, kind of know her, right? Like acquaintances, right? That just started an OnlyFans, and it's it's hilarious.
No,
just the thought of it is hilarious.
Why is it hilarious?
It's like, where are you in your life that you decide that selling pictures of yourself is your career path, right? I'm just curious. I want to know the thought process. That's why it's funny to me. I want to know the thought process, because I couldn't be there.
Judgmental, conservative SOB. Who are you to judge someone that's just trying to live their life?
I respect the hustle. I respect the hustle.
You don't?
No, absolutely I do. It's just I want to speak to this person. I'm like, you went from working at Walmart to selling pictures of yourself. I'm like, it's an upgrade. I get it, but
now you've narrowed it down. So now I know that it's someone at Walmart. I'm gonna have to go to every Walmart and like, hey, you know Zach? You know Zach?
Good luck, man. They're gonna fucking fight you if you ask about me.
No, this game actually looks a lot of fun. You know what? So Gavin just started playing Roblox. I didn't know it was a game.
Hold on. You gotta shut that down immediately. Get him off. Get him off of Roblox. Roblox is weird. Get him onto Minecraft. Force him to play Minecraft.
I love my son. I know my son. When he says he's not going to play something, he's not going to play it, dude. I'm like, dude, I'm like, buddy, you don't want to play a little Minecraft? He's like, no, Dad, no. And I'm like, I don't even think that he's scared of the zombie situation. I just don't think he's interested in it. Like, he probably thought
Roblox is weird, man. Roblox is a strange game for a fucking strange people.
What do they do? It's just
I don't know. I've never played it. I just know stay away from it. That's all I know.
Wait. Have you seen anyone play it?
Yeah, it's all children that play it. That's why someone like you or I should stay away.
Oh, you know.
But then I also think it allows, unruly people to also come in there and then play the game.
So what you got to do is you got to put it on the parental restrictions on there. He actually is not communicating with anyone on the network. It's all bots.
Oh, okay. So I don't know the downside then.
Yeah, that's what you got to do as a parent. You got to lie, right? So you want your kid to feel like he's actually talking to another human being, but really it's you. I text him on his tablet, and it's me talking to him. And I'm like, if he says anything crazy, then I've got to record it. But we got it because he wanted to play the Spider-Man skin game, and then we couldn't figure out how to get the Spider-Man skin onto the game. And I was like, I'm not paying for this. This all roads seem like it's leading to payment, but he loves it, man. Minecraft on PlayStation, it's not feeling.
First of all, we got to get him a PC, right? We got to get him a PC. Get him off of this. Get him off of this garbage console stuff, right?
No, it's got an SSD in there.
Trash. That SSD is ruined now because it was been in a PlayStation. You got to get him onto a PC. Get him in front of a Minecraft experience. You got to play with him. You got to be like next to him, like fucking punch each other and stuff. Yeah, that's what we got to do.
No. I'm thinking about building a PC with him, or building. By that I mean you'll show up. I'll put a mask on you that looks like me, and you can have the bonding moment and tell me how.
You're like, well, actually, he hates computers. As it turns out, he took this glass of water and dumped it inside.
You know what he really does love doing, dude? He watches a lot of people's recorded streams on KidTube. Like, that's how he knows about all these games. Like, he comes up to me and he tells me about games I have no idea about.
Really?
And then he'll show me some weirdos streaming on KidsTube. Not streaming, but their recorded stream on KidsTube. and he watches it for hours. Like, and luckily we've disabled the pay feature on there because he would probably donate if he had the
opportunity. Yeah, man. Next time he comes to do one of these weird games, ask me about it. I could have saved you whatever it was with Hello Neighbor. You know?
Oh, that was a bad move, man. Speaking of bad moves, man, you watched the PlayStation State of Boring. I mean, let's be fair,
I didn't watch it. I watched a recap of it. And man, that was worse than the Xbox showcase. At least Xbox had Halo. There was a game of substance there. As much as I hated on the Halo stuff, right?
You are a constant troll, and I have to pray to my God every time I talk to you. You don't even like Halo, dude. Stop building it up like
Halo. I can respect Halo as a game, right? I can respect Halo as a game, as an esport, as a competitive shooter, because that's what Halo is at a core. There was nothing of substance inside of this Sony's PlayStation State of Boring. Fucking VR stuff. No one cares about the PlayStation VR, dude. Just buy a PC. That's garbage. Like
that's the problem when you've driven a sports car and then you start talking about sedans, right? The guy driving the sedan bought the sedan for a reason. The guy driving the sports car bought that one because he could afford that car. You're telling people to build a PC, but you're not building them up for what it's going to cost them to build an efficient PC.
Dude, I could build you a $600 PC that does everything that the PlayStation 5 is going to.
You hate $600 PCs.
Yeah, but a $600 PC is still better than a console. Right?
It's not going to be better than the next. It's not going to be better than the next.
Yes, it is. No, and you know it is. Do you know why? Because if you ever wanted to branch outside of gaming and do content creation, or make some money for yourself and do editing of videos, or if you want to write a fucking novel, you don't do that on a PlayStation, right?
They got a writing program on PlayStation.
Do they?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Well. How am I going to write with a controller? I'm angry thinking about it.
You can use a keyboard.
Oh my god! But it's all doesn't make any sense, right? Like, a PC is always going to be better. A PC is always going to be better than a console, hands down, no matter what.
How can you be objective about the subject if you've already gone in with hatred in your heart?
How? Because I've owned every PlayStation up until the 5, right?
Okay.
I have had some of the best gaming experiences and some of the best times playing games on a PlayStation, right? There will never be a time where I look back upon playing Modern Warfare 2 on the PS3 for 37 hours a day and not think back upon it fondly, right? Because there will always be a place where I thought that, hey, before I knew about this other thing that's better, right? It's like, listen, have you ever had just like a regular ice pop?
Of course.
Okay. And now, have you ever like just had that and you're like, wow, I don't want a slushie drinking this. A slushie's a better ice pop, right? You get more of it. It's a drink. It's refreshing on a hot day. And an ice pop is just messy after a while, right? But once you go to a slushie, yeah, I know you have a lot going on there that just fucking scoops it up. But once you go to a slushie, like, you don't go back to an ice pop. Right? Because a slushie is just a better ice pop.
Yeah.
I went to PC. You don't just go back. You don't just go back, dude.
Those are the type of comparisons you want to keep to yourself, right?
To be fair, I've never had a slushie, so I actually don't know. I just made that all up in my head.
How can you not? You live so close to the Garden State. We'll get into that.
They're full of sugar, right?
Listen.
That's the exact reason, because the whole diabetes thing.
Because you're handicapped,
right? I'm handicapped, mentally and physically. Yeah, listen,
you have to start looking at this. You have to attempt. You don't have to do anything. I think you should try to attempt to look at this from someone who is a try-hard for consoles. This is a big deal for them.
But the state of play, I'm talking about the state of play. Was not a big deal. This was such a letdown.
It's not, and no one's disagreeing with you. I'm telling you that right now, this is just my humble opinion. PlayStation 5 is going to have a better release than the Xbox. Mark my word.
I agree.
Mark my word. But they both
are lackluster.
the state of play was completely pointless, but I think that was probably more to keep the buzz up. Also, they didn't touch on it in the state of play, but they did circle back to a topic you and I were talking about, which was the whole Square Enix Spider-Man exclusive on Sony. And apparently people were very... I took for granted how upset people were going to get about this.
I was upset. You told me I was wrong.
You are wrong. Just because you're upset doesn't mean you're right. That's just what's
that's
wrong.
how America works now, Steve. Whoever is more upset is the one who is correct.
Don't you dare take this political after you nix my topic.
Oh man, I mean, listen.
To be fair, I did not make it through the whole state of. I did not make it through the whole state.
Did you fall
play.
asleep during? Because I did.
I know. Actually, I started to feel like I was having a dyslexic episode where nothing was making sense. I was kind of like, why am I watching this? This is like more of the same. It seems like you guys are kind of dialing in, and at this point, let's just see what the what we need to know is what we talked about last week. The prices. We're well past this point now.
Yeah.
Right?
All the hype has been built.
Yeah, we need to know the price so we can settle into reality. There are parents, I've seen people posting on Facebook, no, I'm not even joking, saying that they're already trying to figure out how much money they have to put aside for these things.
Yeah.
Let's stop stringing people along.
And you should just link them a PC part picker for like a $700 PC. And you're like, I link
them that and your email. And they're like,
that's where I get all these weird emails from? Man, I got a lot of weird emails recently, so this makes a lot of sense, honestly.
Shout out to our other sponsor for the evening, PC Part Picker, where you can pick a part.
I love PC Part Picker, dude. They don't even have to sponsor me. There's a few things in life, right? Hellman's mayonnaise, Heinz ketchup.
Miracle Whip, bro.
That's vile in many ways, and I'm just gonna forget that you said that.
No, Miracle Whip is for the uninitiated sandwich maker. If you're not making real hoagies, there's no need for you to put mayonnaise on anything because you don't know how to do it.
Good mayonnaise. And PC Part Picker is the way to lay out and plan your next PC build. It's perfect. It tells you where to get the stuff the cheapest, right? Like, it's perfect. It's just a perfect site. So
they have an app now too. You can go onto the app and still do the exact same thing without going. Yeah, look, you're downloading it right.
You better believe I'm downloading it at this moment. PC Parts Picker. Oh my god.
Yeah,
they have an app.
Yeah, I'm on it all the time. It's worse than porn, dude. I'm on that thing.
It's installing right now. Well, you can't see it because my fucking camera decided not to focus, but it is on. I'm opening it.
Can you click on About Phone in there and just give me your and just put your MAC address up real quick?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Listen.
But we're on gaming for a second. We don't actually have that too many gaming topics this evening. Did you see that they're teasing a Suicide Squad game?
No, I've heard this in the ether. This is all right. I don't know how to say this and be polite about. I don't know how to say this and be polite about it without sounding like a Marvel.
Can I try for you? Can I try? Hold on. No one cares. Suicide Squad was a huge flop. It's not even the best DC conglomerate. And no one cares what the video game is going to be.
So the actual storyline is for the initiated. You have to know a lot of backstory, not really, I guess, to really appreciate it, to understand what they're doing with the storyline in the comics. The movie was a huge letdown. Listen, man, I want representation, but I want new characters, right? If you're going to make an African-American character, make an African-American character. I want an original character. I'm not for race bending and all that stuff and characters. The movie sucked. Also, the WB needs to realize DC, WB, AT&T, HBO, whoever owns this shit at this point. Sorry for my language there. The ship has sailed, man. It's just the ship has sailed, right?
Yeah.
If this Zack Snyder cut doesn't do well, that's it.
Yeah. Dude, why doesn't DC build the Justice League and do it justice? For lack of a better phrase. Because like, to me, when I was growing up, the Justice League was it, right? Like, Batman is the coolest thing of all time. To this day, if you ask someone who's the best superhero, and Batman's in that conversation, right?
Yeah.
I don't ask him who's the best DC superhero. Batman is in that conversation, right? Superman's thrown around, like all these things, all these super beloved characters. Why don't they do them justice, right? In my opinion, the Dark Knight series is what set off this massive.
Absolutely.
You've disagreed with me in the past about this, but is what set off this massive string of comic book movies, right? And really brought it back into true fandom because those movies were such masterpieces. At least the first two. I didn't see the third one. Wait, what's the one where he fights Bane? Is that number 3?
Yeah, it's number 3.
Okay, I didn't see that one. At least the first two were such masterpieces. That's what made everyone go, wow, these can actually be done in like an actual cinema, right? An actual cinema instead of just like cookie cutter, we're going to appeal to children, right? Why don't they just like, I know that they're trying to be on the same level as Marvel, and I totally understand this because AMD does this to Intel all the time, but AMD at a point was like, hey, we're just going to make Ryzen chips that aren't quite as good as the Intel stuff that's out right now, but it's going to be competitive on a price to performance standpoint. Why doesn't DC just go, fuck it, dude? We're rebooting Batman from the ground up, and we're going to actually build a Batman universe. Why don't I just do, and at the same time as that, we're going to do Superman and Wonder Woman and is Aquaman? They did an Aquaman movie, right? Yes. But apparently
that did really good. $1 billion. It was one of their $1 billion.
Like, but then build on that, right? And build on that, and then have a big bad that's maybe always looming there, and then have them join the forces. Give me the origin story of the Justice League, and then move forward. Like, why don't they do that?
So the problem is, right? I don't know if this is more to do with the creators, or it's more than likely to do with the corporation behind it, right? It's more to do with the WB and stuff like that. Marvel was willing. Kevin Feige. Here's the thing, man. Marvel had Kevin Feige. They had a true believer leading the ship, right? And he was willing to go through any amount of nonsense to get the whole story told. First Captain America movie, lackluster, but people went to go see it because they wanted to see Steve Rogers' development, right? First Thor movie. Horrible. In my opinion, that movie was a waste of time and a waste of my money. But I went to go see it because I knew it was building to something bigger. Why doesn't DC do that? Because now it's too late to course correct, right?
But it's not.
It is. They would literally have to revamp. It's the same reason why Star Wars is in the place that it's in right now. They would literally have to go. First, there has to be a public acknowledgement going, hey, we're sorry. Right, they wanted Christopher Nolan to do the whole thing, and then he's like,
that was the director for the Batman stuff, right? Christopher Nolan. He does these really, really dark movies, and DC generally is a darker franchise than Marvel, but you don't always want all of those because then they're a chore to watch.
Yeah, but here's the thing: people didn't believe that things. I don't think we really fully grasped what the MCU did because people didn't think you could make a successful, like, lighter tone comic book franchise. And it worked. And it worked up until the point that when they did the Infinity War series in Marvel, people weren't prepared for a darker tone. And that was the huge climax. They were like, oh, wow, there are real consequences. At this point, what they'll probably do is that the Snyder Cut, which you'll be able to watch on HBO Max because you have the subscription now, this is going to be the original Vision. Yeah, you do have HBO Max. I know you do. I guess I do. When Zack Snyder releases his vision for what it was, it's going to be a huge build up to a baddie, right? To Darkseid.
Yeah.
I think after that, depending on how the population receives it, they'll be willing to move in a direction where the next phase they'll build up. Because the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, in case you don't know this, it's going to suck.
Sure.
It's going to be bad.
I agree.
Joker did well because they decided not to do what Marvel did. They said, hey, we're going to focus on our strengths, which are our villains. We're going to give people something that they want. We're going to give people something they want. Now, the smart move would be to build from the Joker movie into the Robert Pattinson movie and just say, hey, this is how we're building our universe. This is how we're starting over, but they can't get out of their own waves. Also, they use real thespians. These are people who are saying, I don't want to be a part of a franchise. Joaquin Phoenix swore up and down he didn't want to do a sequel. Chances are he's coming back for the Joker 2.
Is there a Joker 2? Is that confirmed?
It's not confirmed, but it's like heavily implied that him and Todd are going to work with each other again.
Okay.
I would go see that movie. Actually, I think that was one of the moments that solidified me not choking you to death. I was like, this guy's got good taste. If you would have said you didn't like the Joker, I would have strangled you in that movie theater that night, dude, because that was an amazing movie.
It was incredible.
Same thing that happened to the Fox franchise. You need someone leading helming the ship to say this is the direction we're going in, and they just don't have anyone like that. To answer your question,
so you're telling me the reason that DC will never be as successful as Marvel is that there's not a visionary at the helm, right? This Kevin Feige guy, who I still don't know who the hell that is.
Look him up. He's got the best hat game in the business, man.
Hat game? Is it because he's balding?
Yes, it absolutely is.
So you're telling me that they need a visionary at the helm, someone who's going to tell everyone else to just trust the process, right? Like that, like, you know, every once in a while, a team has to tank to get that good draft pick in 2 years. Wow.
Yes.
Listen, I could be that person.
4 minutes and counting, Zach. 4 minutes and counting, baby. What are you gonna? You're gonna be 24 in 4 minutes.
Dude. Oh, I don't care. I could be that person. I could be the person at the helm.
No, you can't. No, Zach.
No, I absolutely could. Listen, I know people who know more about the DC and Marvel lore than anyone than groups of people.
Here's what you're going to do in the board meeting. You're going to call me in. I'm going to walk in. I'm going to make my presentation. The minute it goes off track and someone disagrees with the presentation that you wanted, you're going to fire everyone in the room. And you and I both know that's true.
And that's correct. And then I will then be Michael Myersing all of the movies. I'll be playing all of the roles simultaneously at that. It'll be fantastic. I think I could do it. You know, as long as the characters are me, Alex Jones. I'm thinking of all the voices that I could do that aren't like weird. And a really, really not great Trump. Well, that was just implied.
Can you do an Ellen impersonation?
I don't need to get canceled. Have you heard all the stuff about that?
Yeah, it's getting dark. It's getting dark.
I saw someone, I mean, and I wish I could remember the person that they say that they should just replace her with. They were like, hey, you should just put this person in and then don't change anything about the show. Not even the name. And just keep it.
People even notice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, man.
Are we jumping topics? Because I have a question before we jump topics.
Go ahead, ask your question.
How do you like your new headphones?
So listen, man. I like them.
Okay.
I'm listening. Once I got the preset right, and now that it's actually synced up, because I've been keeping an eye on your lips for a minute, the dubbing was off, and I was like, all right, this is going to be a problem.
I'm not might be a camera issue. Remember, I'm pumping, 1080 60 through a fucking micro HDMI into a capture card, so that might be me.
Yeah, rich people problems. But to be honest with you, for Bluetooth headphones, I wish I could. I have to put them on your head so you can see that, like, oh wow, these actually are really good for Bluetooth headphones. These are a step down from the Corsair, their higher grade wireless headphones. Okay, and I'm not disappointed. I mean, I would still take those free ones if you're offering them up, so I can listen to music on those, because I was doing research on those, and those are good music drivers, man. Those guys there.
These are incredible, man. I've had these or a version of these headphones for 6-7 years now, and they're wonderful. They really are for the price that they are and what they do. They're incredible headphones. I agree.
Just drop them in my mailbox. Why ruin a good thing?
It's a good point. There's a few things that I have to do before I do that. I'm actually going over that way tomorrow, so I might just drop them in your mailbox.
Here's something I want to talk to you about, right? So I need you to put your hat on, man, right? This is we're going long, but I've been waiting.
It's over there.
No, don't put your hat on. I mean,
think. Okay. My thinking cap.
I'm not even going to segue well for this. We just got it. We got to acknowledge.
I wasn't done with the headphones though. Are they open or closed? Are they open headphones or closed headphones? They're closed. They're closed back headphones. Open. Are they open back headphones? I've never had open back headphones before this pair. Right? Did we talk about my new pair before on the show before?
I knew this is where this was going. This is why I tried.
No, this is a different sound experience. I've always had really very noise canceling.
How do you like it?
I like them a lot. Yeah. It's weird to be able to hear everything around me and to realize that I was screaming into my microphone prior.
Yeah.
So
Here's the thing, right? So the quality is not going to match yours. As daily drivers, like for gaming and stuff like that, it's not going to compare. The quality of these headphones versus the other ones that I was using, you sound a lot crisper.
Okay.
Right? Your voice sounds more full, and it's a more accurate representation of your voice as opposed to the overly compressed ones that I was using before.
Sure.
I guarantee that if you could hear yourself through your headphones, you'd be really surprised with how good you sound through those. So
no, I wouldn't be surprised. I know I sound good.
And moving on to the next topic. This is like too much love going on here. Listen, don't get mad at him, Zach. All right, you're a man that likes to player hate, and I respect that about you.
Am I?
I'm a player hater too. I hate to see people succeed.
I mean, I'm a good hater.
Dude, I go to graduations, other people's graduations, and trip them as they're walking down the aisle. You know what I'm saying? Like I watch a kid.
You just throw marbles. Just
I watch a kid riding his bike for the first time. I'm that guy sticking the stick right in the spoke. I don't want to see you succeed, but you got to give it up for Doc, man. This man pulled us in yesterday with a stream that was basically a pre-recorded.
Did you listen to the audio going on in the background?
Yes, over and over again. He had me sitting there listening to it like it was Pink Floyd The Wall, and I'm playing it backwards, looking for every bit of information that's coming through. And how many people tuned in yesterday? Let's not even get into today. How many people tuned in yesterday?
Peak, I think it was 330,000.
So just to quantify that, they didn't tune in and get Doc. They tuned in and watched a live wallpaper and stuck around. How many people would you say donated yesterday?
An inconceivable amount of people, to be fair. A lot of people give them joined the membership thing in YouTube.
Yeah.
Which I'm still not familiar with. Even to this day, even Doc was saying it on stream today, he's not familiar with it. A lot, an absurd amount. Yeah. A significant amount of people for sure. I don't know. The chat couldn't keep it up. The chat couldn't keep it up.
Just to ultimately hear that I'll be back tomorrow. There was a brief snippet. Come back tomorrow type of segment. People come back today.
He had a full stream today.
Yeah, I think we all knew we were getting into. I was talking about this with someone else, and I was like, you know what? There's a point of being a great marketer, and then there's genius level, right?
He's right on that edge for sure.
And then there's a point of like differentiating yourself from someone like Ninja, for instance. Like Doc is in another level in regards to an entertainer. He is the first real entertainer for this type of medium of content. No one can deny that at this point, and it's amazing to see people tune in. And he addressed it the way that you thought he would address it. I just want to hear your thoughts. He basically came out and said, "I can't talk about it."
No, he said he doesn't know. He still to this point said he doesn't know. I don't believe it. I think I texted you that. I think I probably said that he's full of shit. I still don't believe that he doesn't know. I think it would be impossible. There would be no restriction from him talking because there would be no lawyers involved if he didn't know, right? Other than to try to find out, which I feel like would be pretty easy. That's fairly shut and easy. I think. To be fair, I don't know why he's banned from Twitch. I think it will, in the long run, hurt his stream that he can't play with his friends that stream on Twitch. Right. There was a lot of times of the him and Tim the Tapman feud was fun to watch. Right. He won't be able to do that anymore. There's a lot of stuff going on that in the background could make this ultimately fail. But Doc, and the master production genius and marketing genius that he is, and puts on a good show every time, no matter what.
Almost makes you kind of forget about that. I mean, he'll be able to stream with Courage, and I don't know if Courage. So that's
I don't think he's really ever played with Courage. Maybe a little bit. Maybe some Warzone, but
I don't think Courage. Well, here's the thing: would Courage play with him at this point? Like,
I wouldn't take that risk. I think here's the thing too, right? YouTube is very fickle with what you can and can't show on your content, right? So if we were to play a YouTube video within our video, if we could, we would not be able to monetize it because that person would be able to copyright claim our video for the subject that it's in. He was playing YouTube videos on his stream. Music is a big issue. You can't leave that VOD up if music had been played that isn't your own. I think he was playing a bunch of his own. You're going to get copyright claimed. YouTube is a wild west for copyright and infringement issues, right?
Most of which are enforced by the algorithm.
Correct.
Not even by people complaining. Yeah.
Now, he might be set so he has a manual review, right? Someone makes a claim before it goes anywhere. Someone's fucking sleeping at their desk and goes, a manual review. I haven't had one of these in years. It's Doc. It's Doc. Deny. Right. I don't know. He's going to have some sort of immunity from that if he wants to do. Twitch is a little bit different, right? There's subsects of people who just watch content on Twitch and react to it, right? You can't do that on YouTube and monetize it. So he's going to have to be very careful in that regard, I believe.
So the thing about YouTube is he's got 2 or 3 other support channels. It's the best way to qualify them, where they replay and recapture most of his stuff. And they have gotten a lot of stuff. When he was still on Twitch, they show that stuff on YouTube. I don't think he's ever gotten it. They've had any issues before. I think what's going to be difficult for him now is how many retention, like we were talking about.
But hold on. You were talking about when he was on Twitch, they would rip his video and then upload it to YouTube.
Yes.
It wasn't on YouTube. You can't play YouTube inside of YouTube because then if someone has rights to that video or that music that's already on YouTube, they could point to that and say, hey, this is mine. He's copying it. I want the revenue from this section of the stream.
So there is a thing called
fair. You're going to say fair use. I know exactly what you're going to say, but here's the issue that doesn't work on YouTube because people can just flag you without any even evidence, and YouTube will then put you in review, stop your monetary value from that time from when it goes into review till out of review, and then you never recoup that back.
So that's actually not an insurmountable mountain to get over. So you just don't use anyone else's content.
But that's what I'm saying. He was doing this already today. Day one of his stream, he was watching trailers. He was watching Drifters videos, which Drifter tweeted that he was allowed to use it. He was watching XQC play Hyperscape. He was watching other YouTube videos on his stream.
Right. Also, trailers that's fair game. You can't get a copy strike for that. You can watch a trailer. It's not an issue.
But you can't play music, right?
No,
we could not have music intro for our channel, right? Unless it was our own original content, right? And then
stock music provided by YouTube, which thanks for sending that stuff over. It all sucks. Go ahead.
I'm glad you went that direction. So he was already doing these things that if we did, we would have strikes on our channel already. Right. So is there an immunity? Are they giving him an immunity? Are they giving streamers an immunity? That might be different from what I understand, right? I know YouTube content creation versus YouTube streaming. Is there someone, is he going to have a case manager? Is he going to have a channel manager inside of YouTube, right? What are his contacts inside of YouTube? So that's what I'm curious, because he'll get himself banned very quickly if he duplicates what he does today 10 times.
I feel as if, though, he's not going to have those type of ends until the situation kind of gets cleared up, because it's been publicly made known that they're not in any YouTube being that not in any negotiations. So I don't feel like they're going to give him any favoritism.
Is it, though? He pretty much all but announced it as his platform today as YouTube.
But not with an exclusive contact. He's not signed to them.
Man.
Wait, if I missed something, then please fill me in.
I haven't seen any contracts come out, but I think it's also hard for you to be that promoted on YouTube without some sort of exclusivity coming there. He announced it as his platform.
It's the back end deal. You know how this goes. Dana White is the best at it. It's like, hey, we're not really.
He's got rid of poor Corey Anderson.
Hold on for a second. You said that like that was a sin. You and I both knew that was coming, dude.
Okay, so Corey Anderson requested it, but
and if you're naive to believe, allegedly, you're naive to believe that they don't get a kickback some way, somehow for releasing these fighters.
Yeah, they don't have to pay him out the rest of their contracts.
But he was
on a bit of a tear, though. I'm sorry with Corey Anderson talk here. He was on a bit of a tear until he fought Blachowicz.
What do you quantify as a tear?
He had 4 wins in a row over Pat Cummings, Glover Teixeira, Latifi, and Johnny Walker. That's a bit in the light heavyweight division. Who else is there? There's no one else in that division, dude. The only person he didn't fight was John.
But we got to look at, it's not fair to do this, but I was like, we got to look at his losses prior to that tear that he
OSP, Jimmy Manawa,
it's like
Mauricio Hua, and Gian Vellante.
Dude, he lost to OSP, who could beat me to death, and right where I stand right now, there's no doubt in my mind, but it's OSP. You know what I'm saying? Like, Corey Anderson is the guy that Daniel Cormier said about Jimmy Manawa, like, oh, calm down for a second. You beat Corey Anderson. You know, it's like
who else is in that division right now? Let's be fair.
You were at the house when he beat Johnny Walker, and were both. That was amazing.
Absurd.
That was amazing.
Absurd.
That was absurd. But that's got nothing to do with Dr. Disrespect, man. That's got nothing to do with the greatest ever, the 2-time champion of the Blockbuster tournament, NBA Jam. You can't do it.
The only true 2-time on Twitch is Pastilli. Let's be fair.
You are a dial. You work that man into every conversation.
He's taking 12 days off from streaming.
Why do you know that?
Because he's been talking about it. His last stream was like 2 days ago.
He is one of 2 people I've ever heard you say you bought merch from. Anyone else? You just your face,
Bodie, Pat, or King Cash.
Nice, dude. What'd you buy from Cash? What'd you give him the Cash?
I have a Cash tank top.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you gotta support your friends. Yeah, a few different people. Shroud. Yeah, bought a bit of merch.
You know, it's like happy birthday, man.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, I love how you look down at the clock. You're
like, I can't yell at him. No, Doc is the greatest to ever do it. It's there is no thought or comparison or whatever it is. I want to know what the end to this story is. I actually tweeted a bunch of things from our Twitter account today, in regards to this. If I didn't see it, but
yeah, no, I got a bunch of direct messages, threatens for bans and stuff like that. But
no, I was very supportive of Doc.
I would love to see how the story ends as well. Right. Again, I want to be responsible, even though we're a comedy show, man, and we make light of a lot of things, and we get serious about some topical stuff. But I am not completely sold on the whole sexual allegation thing. And actually, in retrospect, I think it was irresponsible for anyone to float those ideas publicly until we knew what was going on. But as me and Zach have preached to the choir multiple times, that's the state that we live in. You can just say anything you want.
That's what I do. I do it all the time. So one of the more important things that came out of the stream is that he announced that he's starting a production company.
Okay.
He is starting a production company. They're not quite ready for hire yet, but at one point they'll be ready to do producing for seemingly whatever, I assume, right? Streaming, movies, TV shows, whatever it is. So that's interesting to me.
That's very interesting. You got to respect what he's done, Guy Beam, in his lifetime. Think about it. He has no coding experience, has no design experience in gaming, but he worked his way into that. And I think that's the type of person you want to respect, because he basically talked himself into that job. You realize that, right?
And designed some of the potentially the worst maps ever made in Call of Duty Ghost.
Doesn't matter, man. If I make a burger for McDonald's and it sells, but it's horrible, all we remember is that the burger sells.
You got to respect the hustle. All right.
Yeah, you got like, the McRib was my idea. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's disgusting, but people buy it every year.
My mom loves it.
Listen, listen. I don't give a damn about TikTok. All right, I said something on Facebook the other day about it getting banned, actually promoting the show, and I forgot to mention this to you. Someone got at me really hardcore about it. I'm like, dude, you're coming at me about
Were they
this?
A 13-year-old girl?
No.
But that's what my response would have been. Are you a 13-year-old girl? And then if they weren't, I would call them a pedophile.
So the thing they were upset about is like, you're associating it with the communist regime. I'm like, I'm not associating it with anything. This is a fact. This is an absolute fact.
I am. So we've been open about what Tencent owns on this show plenty of times, right? Riot Games, 40% of Epic, 5% of Activision Blizzard. So Trump issues this ban 45 days from now. Apparently the Microsoft deal probably didn't go through from what I assume. he also in this unknowingly banned all transactions with the parent company, ByteDance and Tencent. Right? That is what that. I don't think there will be a way that they'll be able to uphold this. Right now, maybe blocking TikTok or the filtering some of the stuff that they could see might go through, because that still has to be approved by the Senate and the House or whatever, right? This essentially means you can't buy anything from League of Legends, any of your Valorant skins, because these are the people who are owned by Tencent, right? I don't know how Call of Duty comes into this, because they're 5% ownership of Activision Blizzard. But yeah, he just inadvertently banned a lot of shit. It's fairly interesting.
So that means the Google Play Store is essentially going to shut down in 45 days.
It's pretty much gonna clean out for sure. Facebook will be there.
It's gonna look like the Microsoft Store.
It will look worse than the Microsoft Store, because at least Microsoft owns some properties. Yeah, that's life, dude.
Dude, are you gonna have a birthday drink?
What do you mean?
Are you gonna have a birthday drink, man?
No.
No?
I've been drinking a little bit over the past week and just decided that I don't like it. It's not my thing anymore. I've given it up.
Yeah, you know what? I turned into a communist when I was 24 too. You'll grow out of it, dude. You'll come back to the American ways of drinking. Listen, I've not been discreet about this. Every once in a while, a moron will get something incredibly right. This is something I think Trump might have gotten right, and it's going to protect a lot of people without them knowing it.
Now, listen, I agree. From a cybersecurity standpoint, I wholeheartedly agree. The way that the bill or the ban or whatever was worded was terrible, right? Mm. You can ban TikTok without banning everything Tencent owns, right?
Right.
That is just the truth. Now, I also believe Valorant should be banned because of the Kernel Zero anti-cheat that it has that literally sees what you're doing on your PC before the PC knows what it's doing. I think that's really bad, and I think that should also be banned or removed from the game. But I also don't think it's fair for League of Legends, which started and is essentially based in, they might have moved their headquarters to North Carolina, but like Manhattan Beach, California, right? Or Redondo, whatever those beaches, that's where Riot Games is, right?
Right.
I don't think that's fair. And I don't know if that'll ever be able to be upheld, but if it is, that's just a really bad precedent, in my opinion.
So I agree with you 100% in the fact that I don't think this is going to be able to be upheld. You have to bring in someone to monitor this on a level. But I also said on the record on Facebook, I didn't think the Huawei, how do you pronounce it? Huawei, I didn't think they were going to be able to pull that off, and they did. They 100%, like, you can't even buy one of those phones, kid.
But that's banning a company that sells products, like physical products, right? It is much harder to ban things on the internet. It is once you put something on the internet, it's there forever, right?
So only reason I would disagree with that, we were just joking about the Google Play Store. If they put a ban on it, it's not that hard to ban an APK file. Like, that's it.
No, that's correct. You're correct. You're very much so right. Mm. I do find it hard to ban all the things that come along with it. League of Legends is a game that makes $1 billion+ a year, more than that, multiple billions of dollars a year, right? What the fuck else do they own? Like Clash of Clans, the mobile game. Everyone has downloaded or played Clash of Clans at some point, and it's $1 billion industry, right? Like, there are so many things, and it also makes me nervous because RuneScape, Jagex, right, is now owned by a Chinese company, right? What's to say? It's a UK game studio owned by a Chinese company now. They took an investor in. What makes us say that they don't want to ban all things coming out of China? It just in case, right? And that's just a bad precedent going forward. I don't mind the ban of TikTok. I mind the overarching umbrella ban over Tencent games, which, to be fair, I don't like Tencent. I just think it's a bad move.
Yeah, so the crazy thing about it is, as you're describing it right now, if you think about it for a second, so if they start banning everything that they deem a cybersecurity risk or a data breach risk.
Sure.
Pretty soon we'll be as restricted as, ironically, China's internet.
Yeah, Cisco years ago built the Great Firewall of China. They did. Yeah. Everything is filtered through it. I was joking earlier, but there is legitimately a link that you could post in like in-game chat, right? If you suspect someone is from China, that will get picked up by the filter and then remove them from the game. That's how heavy that their filtering is in China. So Koreans would do it all the time to get the Chinese players out of their servers.
That's amazing.
It's actually really funny. So, they have this massive filter, and whether or not that it's accessible or breakthrough or whatever you could do with it, it's a different story. But I think the ban of TikTok is a good idea from what it does as an application. But I don't, as much as I hate Tencent, I don't think it's a good idea to overarching umbrella ban everything from Tencent.
You know what's crazy? As we're talking about this, we see the perceived threat and the looming threat, right? So the looming threat is the Tencent thing, but I should say the immediate threat. Who's going to start protecting all these elderly people from the cyber attacks, Ponzi scams, really, from India? Is anyone ever going to talk about this on a national level?
Here's the issue: is that I would say that 60% of them come out of India. Right, it's not 100% India. Right, there's a lot out of northern Africa, if I remember correctly.
Jamaica too.
Yeah, a lot of the islands. The UK has a huge population that does this, and even inside the states. So it's when there is a threat and you know what the threat is and you can directly identify it, it is much easier than if there's these group of things that are going on, right? So it's a different dynamic as to whether or not you could pinpoint something versus you would have to shotgun approach it and then draw it back.
You know what cracks me up, man? There was a county, I believe it was New York County, I have to double check it, but a county facility for some state, and they were actually compromised by one of these 2-bit schemers from India. The entire county building had to be shut, like their network had to be shut down because one person allowed someone who they
it's not that hard. It makes one mistake to infiltrate an entire network, and it's very easy.
Ugh, it's brutal. Zach, my brother, happy birthday, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Zach, for your 21st birthday, will you just tell people, 24th birthday, will you just tell the people, where can they find you? Where are you going to be at? Where can they contact you if they want to see your well wishes, dude?
Everything at Talking with a Dad. Twitter.
We want your personal Twitter.
Facebook. Instagram. I don't even know what I've never even looked at the Facebook, to be fair. Instagram, the website.
That's a total lie. You've been to the page and you're like, this word is spelled wrong, and I would like for you to remove the space from there.
That's it. Well, I mean, my Twitter is Zach N Plays, the same as my Twitch. That's it. That's the only 2 places I am. Twitter and Twitch.
Check them out, and you can also join us on the Discord, so you'll know when Zach is going to go live and stream, which I'm sure is going to be just like Shroud. Zach likes to draw no attention by drawing a lot of attention, so just be paying attention. He'll go on.
Yeah, no, join the Discord for sure. No, if you really want to, join the Discord. That we're always in there. If someone sends a message, me and Steve always contradict and reply over each other, and it's a good time. It really is. There's a topic suggestion in there if you guys want us to cover something. You could go into that. You can go into that area and suggest topics. And yeah, it's a fun time.
All right, folks. Thanks to everyone tuning in. Zach, happy birthday. We love you, big guy. And that's it for us, folks.